ReZero, Side Story, The Dragon Nation, Missing Child Search Chronicle 4, Chapter 1.
Well, I never thought I would hear that my son is working for the royal selection. I'm sorry to surprise you. But it's true. Otto is always helping us with a lot of things. Right? Mazarin, a man who flaunted a fine moustache, spoke in awe, to which Emilia replied and requested corroboration from her companions. Correct. A man with heterochromatic eyes answered Emilia's call with a nod. His figure was clad in an elegant, well-sewn attire. Sir, continued the man, staring at Mazarin, as Lady Emilia stated, we rely on your son's invaluable assistance on a regular basis. And despite that, we have been very impolite, since we never bothered to come and greet you formally. Oh, not at all. You have nothing to apologize for. If you find my inexpert son worthy, feel free to use him as you please. I know he would consider it an honor, too. Right? Do you expect me to just say yes to something like that? The forceful racket of a third voice cut into the men's peaceful conversation. The sudden shout led all eyes to the youth who was panting and moving his shoulders up and down. Otto, oops, he immediately put a hand to his mouth, aware that he had just ruined the ambience. My, take it easy. You have to behave, Otto. You're being rude to Lady Emilia and Margrave Mathers. But, Mom, excuse my child's noisiness. Ironically, he used to be such a quiet kid when he was little. I don't know what changed him. I'm so sorry. Otto's face showed uneasiness that contrasted with the serenity exuded by the woman who made that comment. After she served tea to the guests who rested on the living room sofa, the woman sat down next to Mazarin with utmost naturalness. Mazarin and Fremier from the Suwin household were a perfect match. When she took a glance at her tender features and demeanor, plus details such as her eyes, Emilia felt quite impressed. She looks just like you, Otto. You really take after your mom, yet he inherited his eye and hair color from his father. I see, you have rather amusing origins, Otto. At least Lady Emilia was not trying to be malicious. Huh? Did I say something bad? Otto's grumble made Emilia's eyes widen in confusion. Do not worry about it, Otto thought but did not say, sealing the reply inside his mind. This sort of thing happened sometimes when she talked to him. However, it was proof that Otto, being smart as he was, often concerned himself with Emilia and everybody else in the faction. Otto, let me share your troubles from time to time. I don't know if I can help you, but I always do my best to. Yes. Thank you very much. I have never doubted that, ever. Despite how insistent Emilia was, Otto reacted with a nod, not taking it personally. Satisfied, Emilia stroked her chest down, and then Otto's expression turned glum. The glumness was not due to Emilia, but to the fact that the Suwens, in other words, his own parents, watched the exchange. Dad, Mom, why those faces? Don't you look at me with those suspicious eyes. Who do you think you are, a veteran merchant? Excuse me, I may not be a veteran, true, but I am literally a merchant. Come on, don't yell at him. We're both relieved to know that you've grown into such a splendid, hard-working man. Even if you strayed from your path as a trader. To see Otto blushing and gritting his teeth was a fresh experience for Emilia. She was used to hearing him raise his voice to complain, but him doing it with his parents had a different air to it. Whenever he talked to Subaru or Garfield, his attitude was different, maybe simpler. Or more precisely, it seems like, grow as they may, kids will forever be kids in front of their parents. Ah, yes. That's really close to what I was thinking. In response to her companion's words, Emilia clapped, and her lips broke into a smile. Frustration became even more evident on Otto's countenance, whereas joyful smiles appeared on his parents. Suddenly, Emilia found herself fond of Otto's family. Nevertheless, it was pleasant to chat with you, but, to be honest, we have not come here with your son only to greet you. Would you mind if we made one slightly complicated request? As soon as the companion, Roswell L. Mathers, broached the topic, Mazarin Suwin, head of the Suwin Company, shifted his stance from a mere father's to a merchant's.
Chapter 2.
Done. No way they're gonna try kill Otto bro again after how badly we scared him off. Or rather, After Ram talked them out of it with her eloquence, both Sister Ram and Garf did amazing back there. Petra delivered her report with childlike enthusiasm. "I'm glad," said Emilia, relieved. They were in a room of the Suin family's house, which had been allotted for the guests to stay. Emilia received the report from her other 3 companions, who had been absent during the discussion with the Suens. Ram, Garfield, and Petra had been entrusted to complete a certain task in the commercial city picked at. And that was, I can't believe I was forced to give closure to Otto's woman issues, hearing that ain't gonna help Otto bro get over it, toe. I mean, it ain't really his fault. Maybe it's just his luck, or the way he talks or acts, I dunno. You make it sound like he deserved it. With an awkward smile, Petra listened to Garfield defending the subject of Ram's displeasure while trying to soothe her. Even so, the story probably matched what Emilia had heard. Thus, out of the 2, she agreed with Garfield the most. She did not believe that Otto was to blame. So, that woman, who's acquainted with Otto, was engaged to many men, and got angry when Otto exposed her secret. Am I right? That's more or less the gist of it. Still, I'm sure there was a better way to fix things, so Otto should have thought better of it before angering her to the point she hired an assassin. An assassin? Holding her own elbows, Ram uttered an answer that made Emilia's shoulders quiver. That woman and the assassin were the reason that Otto had been, heretofore, unable to return to his hometown. In fact, his recent visit was still being kept secret. However, it's all solved now. Master's name sure came in handy. Roswell's name? Oh, yes, since he's important in this kingdom. Yes, exactly. If he's always going to be bringing problems, then he might as well lend us his name for a good cause. Petra declared so, standing proud and dignified, a great display of fortitude. Emilia could only marvel at how dependable the girl had grown. Petra's collaboration was also very valuable for their plan to rescue Subaru. Seriously, thank you really much, Petra. What brought that on, Lady Emilia? You don't need to, but I want to say it. Not only to you, but to Ram and Garfield too. I want to thank all of you. Although Petra was confused to see Emilia bowing before her, Emilia shook her head sideways and then bowed again before Ram and Garfield. If it weren't for all the help you've given me, I'd probably have tripped midway and never found the strength to stand up again. That's why you wish to thank us. It might be a little too early for that, said Ram, interrupting Emilia's speech and narrowing her pink eyes. Emilia raised her eyebrows at the stiffness in that voice. Well, Garfield clicked his fangs, I can't blame Lady Emilia for those feelings. If Otto bro's family supportin' us, we'll have a method to get Tarthar Empire and find Thar Captain. And we're just one step away from that. You're right, but, still, Ram may be cold, but she ain't lying. Let's keep our emotions at bay for a while, or we might end up like Tangan the Hasty. Aight? Garfield flashed his fangs with a smile, and then looked alternately at Emilia and Ram. Being the recipient of his gaze, Ram breathed out a small sigh. Are you trying to flatter both Ram and Lady Emilia? How impudent. Disgusting. Hey, I was just trying to give ya a power-up. Power-up. So you've caught the Barusu syndrome. My condolences, get well soon. Grr. Ram's ruthless attack robbed Garfield of all drive. Seeing the pitiful scene, Emilia tried to find the words to comfort Garfield. It's fine, sis, let them be, Petra. But I feel bad for Garfield, you know. Garf likes it when Sister Ram treats him that way. In fact, it'd be even worse for him if you meddled. I want to see Subaru again. I hope we do, too, Petra whispered as she pulled Emilia's sleeve and contemplated Ram and Garfield. When she noticed the weak, childish facet that the girl, despite being brilliantly mature, was showing, Emilia nodded in silence. The two yearned equally to see Subaru return safe and as soon as possible. However, though, I think your yearning might be a bit different from mine, sis, huh? Petra, what do you mean? And once again, the mischievous side that Petra hid manifested itself to torment Emilia without any mercy.
Chapter 3.
If I am correct, Master and his colleagues are still busy negotiating with Mr. Otto's parents. Yes, probably. I hope they can reach an agreement soon, though. After leaving the lively room where Petra's group sojourned, Emilia entered another one. Upon arriving at the calm place, she encountered Frederica, who kept her maid uniform despite the trip, and, is Beatrice still resting? Correct. She has not stopped doing so ever since we arrived. According to her, that prevents the excessive use of mana. Yes. She's in battery saver mode, was it? Emilia turned to look at the bed at the back of the room, where Beatrice slept. The girl had been lying there, her eyelids closed and fringed by long lashes, during most of the day, including the journey to Pictat. However, she was not merely sleepy. Miss Beatrice is meant to stay in repose until she can rejoin Mr. Subaru. Of course, I know. I tried asking my lesser spirits, and Roswell did some research of his own too, but, at the end of the day, we can't do much about it without Subaru. The contract between a spirit and its user allowed them to exchange mana via their gates. Due to her unique origins, Beatrice's only source of mana to preserve herself was her contractor, Subaru. Therefore, the longer their estrangement grew, the more alarming it became. As her mana deficit worsened, Beatrice slept in an attempt to combat exhaustion. Were it possible to find a replacement for her, they would be very willing to search for one. But, Lady Emilia, Miss Beatrice would have trouble resting if she were to see you grieving. Well, you're right. Beatrice is really kind, after all. Since it was impossible, they could not afford to lose both Emilia and Beatrice to debility. And if Emilia had to be the one who kept her spirit, she would. Ah, by the way, Petra and the others came back a while ago. Did you go greet them? Indeed, I greeted them as soon as they returned. I must admit that, when I heard that Petra would be accompanying you, I became concerned that she would act imprudently. She said Roswell's name came in handy. I heard so too. Oh, that girl. However, now I realize that Ram would have probably been incapable of using Master's name in that way, thus Petra was the most qualified for the job. Besides, if Garth had lost his patience, he could have resorted to violence, spoiling the progress of your negotiations entirely. He. Come on, Garfield isn't that big of a hothead. Perhaps due to their closeness as siblings, Frederica assessed Garfield in a loving yet stern manner. Since Garfield was still 15 years old despite his looks, it was natural, to a certain extent, for her to treat him like a child. Nevertheless, Petra and Garfield's age gap was merely of 2 years. Every youngster looks really childish to people like Beatrice and me. Well, Lady Emilia, I beg to differ in regard to that matter. You cannot determine who is an adult and who is a child based only on ages. What do you? When Emilia tried to inquire more about Frederica's thoughts, she heard something. Be quiet, I'm trying to sleep. In fact, exclaimed Emilia, putting a hand to her mouth, the moment she heard that sleepy voice. Then she walked closer towards the bed and found the source. I'm sorry, Beatrice. Did we wake you up? Sure did, I suppose. You'd better not make Betty's efforts go to waste. In fact, my apologies, Miss Beatrice. I should have known better. Frederica begged for pardon with a flush on her cheeks. Fine, but be more careful, I suppose, replied Beatrice from her bed, and after a blink from her round eyes, she continued, You're supposed to be discussing things at Otto's home. In fact, yes, we're already there. Roswell and Otto are doing the talking for us right now. I'm sure Roswell will find a way to win them over, I suppose. That man can't afford to lose Subaru, after all, in fact. But, I know, the Empire is way too big. That's why Anastasia will be helping us too. Even if Emilia's group managed to arrive in the Empire of Wallachia, Beatrice's misgivings would not be easily dispelled. They would need to track Subaru's movements, and by extension Rem's, in an empire of expanse much vaster than the kingdom of Lagunica. That was no ordinary chore. Therefore, Anastasia had promised to provide them with her collaboration throughout the search for Subaru. While Emilia intended to enter the empire through Pictat, the other group contrived to access Wallachia via the city-state of Kararagai. I really don't want to cause many inconveniences for Anastasia, though, but it's for Subaru, I suppose. Yes. Once we get Subaru back, let's go thank them for everything. Once everything was over, She planned to go express her gratitude with Subaru safe by her side, and to see that happen tomorrow, she needed to borrow many others' strength and keep running with all her might today. Miss Beatrice, if you stay awake, I'm done, in fact. Now, let me go dream of Subaru for a while, I suppose. Rest well. Say hi to Subaru for me. Sure, in fact, said Beatrice, with her eyes shut, as her lips relaxed. Petting the girl's forehead, Emilia nodded at Frederica, and so the two exited the room. Then, leaning her back against the closed door, Emilia shut her amethyst eyes tightly. Wait for us, Subaru. We're all coming to see you soon. And although Subaru was nowhere to be seen, she dedicated those words to him, making it clear that she would not stop until she fulfilled her fervent desire to have him again in the faction where he belonged.